it's Lindsay from Friends of Jacksonville Animals, and I am here today to show all the foster parents how to make a flyer that will help market your foster animal. So let's go ahead and begin. Just to let you know, we have a couple different options of how you can make a flyer. Basically, you want to use a program that's going to allow you to save it both as a JPEG file, which you can publish online, or a PDF file, which can be sent out or printed, via email, things like that. I really like to use Microsoft Publisher just because it gives me the option of creating it either vertically like this, or sometimes horizontally like this. So that's why I like to use Microsoft Publisher. Another program that I will sometimes use is PowerPoint, because you can do all of this on a slide, and it's also got templates, and some people like those formatted templates in PowerPoint. So everything we're going to do today is in Publisher, and when we get to the saving portion, just know that you can do that same thing in PowerPoint to save as a JPEG. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. We're going to go ahead and make a flyer today for my new foster PD. And the first thing I always recommend is that people can tell that this is an adoption flyer. If it doesn't say adopt nice and big on there, people may think it's a missing animal, they may think it's a found animal, they may think it's an animal who's in need of a foster home. So let's just make sure that I always make sure I have the word adopt nice and large. You want to make sure that you use a font that's easy to read. Just because you like it or you think that it's cute may not mean that everyone can necessarily look at it and tell what the words say. I like to avoid things that are in italics. Also, I feel like they are a little difficult to read online. And so I just always say pick something, that has some personality, but that's kind of basic and that people can read it. So I think we're going to go with this one. Now, I like to get lots of free fonts online. Just go to Google and type in free fonts, and it'll take you, I think there's this website called like 101freefonts.com or something, where I get a lot of mine. And they're free as long as you don't use them for business purposes. So I like to kind of jazz things up. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to make sure I do this nice and big, and I'm going to use a color. Since you're going to be putting it online, you may want to stay away from writing words in like super light colors. Darker colors show up better while you're working online. So I'm just going to go ahead and write adopt PD, and then I want to make this nice and big. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and center that also. Okay, the next thing you want to do is make sure you include a picture. I always recommend that it's a picture where the animal's looking at the camera, and obviously you want to make sure they look super cute and adoptable. So I just go to insert and picture. Let's see, I have a picture that I took of him earlier. Where did I save it? I believe I saved it right here. So here's PD. And I'm going to move it down a little bit. Aw, isn't he cute? Look at him. He's so cute. Alright, so there's my PD's picture. Now I do want to make sure that I've got enough room. Whoops. Let me make this text box a little bit smaller so I can move this picture up a little bit. There we go. I do want to make sure that I've got enough room on there to write information down at the bottom. Now you can do some fun stuff with these pictures. I just recommend on these flyers that you don't get carried away. It's tempting to want to add a bunch of graphics and use really colorful pictures and backgrounds because we think, the more it stands out, the more someone's going to look at it. Not necessarily. A picture of the animal is probably more likely to draw people than, hearts and balloons and flowers and stars and things like that. And additionally, you really want the adopter's eye to focus in on the picture of your foster animal as well as the information. I have a friend who says that sometimes flyers can look like 80s videos because they're all over the place. 80s music videos, that is. So I kind of like to keep them simple and to the point. You can always use color. Just make sure you use it in a way that's not going to turn someone off. All right, so let's see. So I've got adopt PD nice and big so everybody knows that, you know, it's not that he's missing or lost. I've got his little picture here. I'm going to, let's see, I have lots of different options. I'm not going to do anything super fancy, but I do like the way that looks. All right, and then I am going to insert another text box. Now remember, this is also how you're going to do it on PowerPoint. Text boxes I find are easy to use. You may, you know, have something that's easier for you, but when you're working like this, just make those text boxes and then move them around. Okay, so I am going to choose a font that is nice and easy to read. I do like this one a lot. And then I'm going to, all right, so I think that's going to be big enough. So I'm going to say PD is an adoptable 7-month-old kitten. And then I'm just going to put some information in here. I want to put things that obviously, you know, is important to the adopter, and I always want to put a positive spin on things. For example, PD has a bum leg. He had an injury that, you know, healed itself, but it kind of healed a little funky. So he's got a leg that he sometimes holds up, and then he, you know, he can't walk as gracefully as some cats. So I do want to put that information in there, but I don't want to make it, you know, a turn off to adopters. So I'm going to write, he has an old injury that healed incorrectly. So he has a slight limp. However, all he needs is easy access to food and litter. And he will make up for it in love. Okay, just something, you know, that doesn't make people, that ends on a positive note. I'm gonna have to make this a smidge smaller to make everything fit. You also want to make sure that you, in addition to putting information about their, you know, if it's a dog particularly, you want to put breed information, you want to put size information. I'm going to put here that he likes other dogs and cats because that's what's happening in my house right now. And then, you know, you also want to make sure you put all the good information too. He is neutered, up to date on shots, and microchipped. And then I am going to also include my contact information. So I would put my email nice and big, so whatever your email address is. And then additionally, you know, your phone number, and really only give information that you feel comfortable giving. If you would prefer to talk to people through email, well then put your email address. And I'm just going to make that nice and big so that people can see. And I'm just going to justify that. Okay. Looking good. Now, like I said, you know, don't be afraid to use color if you want to jazz stuff up. Just remember that darker colors are easier to read online. You know, you may put that light blue and think, oh, that looks so pretty, but it's kind of difficult to see. So, you know, maybe choose like a darker blue that's going to make that stand out. And then, you know, anything else you may want to add, if you want to put another picture on, maybe you have another picture you could put right here. You just, like I said, I'm a fan of keeping it, you know, relatively simple. And, you know, just play around with what's in here. Like if I want to change the background, I'm sure that there's probably an easier way to do this, but I like to add a shape and then I will just make a rectangle. I will fill it in with the color that I want. So maybe I want to give it a nice orange background because PD is orange. And I click send backward until all my information pops up. And then I've got an orange flyer for PD. You also want to keep in mind if you are going to print this that you don't want to go overboard with the color printing unless you have easy access to a color printer. So, okay. I actually don't really like that orange, so I'm just going to hit Control Z until it goes away. There we go. All right, so here's my Adopt PD flyer. Now comes the good stuff. I want to save this as a JPEG file so I can post it online. So I'm going to hold down my Control key and my A key at the same time. Click File, click Save As, name it what I want. My PD flyer. I am going to save it as a JPEG file. And then I'm going to just click Save so that way it can be posted online. I'm going to also want to do the same thing so that I can email it to people who can print it and post it. I'm going to go to Save As. I'm going to name it PD Flyer, and then I'm going to save it as a PDF. This will enable people to open it similar to a Word document, but they cannot make changes, which is nice. So then I'm going to hit Save. And it pops up so you can see that I might email this to someone, maybe my vet, maybe my friends and family, or somebody I know, maybe my coworkers, so they can open it up and say, oh, he's so cute, I totally want to adopt him. Okay, so now you've got your files, and feel free to send them out. Some tips I have for posting them different places. Facebook is a great thing to do. I always post lots of pictures and flyers on Facebook. Here's one for one of our current cats in foster care, Girly. I can get this to pull up for you. One thing you want to do on Facebook is just make sure, now only do what you're comfortable with, because if you make it public, that does mean people will have your information. But I'm kind of okay with that if it gets my foster adopted. That's just my personal preference. So you just want to make sure that you go to options and that you change the setting to make it public. Something else you can do is you can make it your profile picture, make it your cover photo, so that people can easily find information if they're, if maybe one of your friends wants to adopt. You can also click on Edit, and that's actually where you're going to change the setting. You just want to make sure that it's set to public so that other people can share. Sometimes if you want, you can always tag. So maybe I'm going to tag Animal Care and Protective Services in this so that it will also show up on their page. And you have some different options too. A lot of people are not fans of Craigslist, but I have found good adopters on there. But like any adopter, for your foster pet, just know that you have the right to meet someone and make a decision, because you are the foster parent and you advocate for that foster animal. So share it on Facebook, post it in different places. I've had really good luck posting in Starbucks and Publixes and around town. Bring it to your vet's office. Send emails. Emails still actually really work because so many people still use email in the workplace versus Facebook. So I've had some good luck there too. So just don't be afraid, to share your foster animal and how cute they are with the world, so that you can help get them adopted. And we truly appreciate everything you do. If you have any questions, feel free to post them to the Friends of Jacksonville Animals Facebook page, and we will help. Thanks. Have an amazing day.